RIP the comic book industry. Diamond is laying a bunch of people off. This is after they sold the company, after they went into bankruptcy. It's a disaster. I mean, it is. Heidi McDonald is using the flames, right? Usually it's YouTubers that are using the flames to highlight just how bad this is.
But it's okay when she does it. So.
It's okay when she does it. I think she's
also, we're bigots, but okay.
I think she's also seeing her blog revenue go up in smoke too. But we're gonna talk about this, guys. It's not good. This is not good. This is actually, I think, kind of the worst case scenario. Diamond has been sold, and they're laying people off. And I don't think the new owners are really all that interested in floppy comics, from my understanding. We're going to look into it, see who's gotten gone. People that have been there for decades. And look, Marvel and DC will be fine probably as long as their corporate owners decide to keep publishing monthly comic books, because, you know, they've got Lunar and, Penguin Random House, whoever the hell's distributing comics right now, right? But eventually, I think there's going to be a long tail to this. It's going to catch up with a lot of the smaller publishers because they're not going to have the same options. And
I just feel bad for people who've been there for years.
Yeah, I feel bad too. I mean, look, we did work for Gemstone for a number of years. There actually are some good people over at Jeppy Co. But it's the long tail is going to be, smaller companies are going to go out, and also shops will probably go out, because a lot of shops use Diamond almost exclusively for their stuff. So don't know what the future looks like, but it doesn't sound like they're going to be really comic focused. But then just objectively, why would you be? Mm-hmm. You know, because the comic book industry, being in the state it's in right now, why would you be? And if the kids are reading manga and graphic novels, you can get that stuff from other distributors. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture news, views, and rants. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
And this is I'm doing it backwards again. This is Geeky Sparkles.
You keep throwing me off. Hi.
This is Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Hi. No, you have to do the hello.
I just did. Hello.
Okay, there you go. And this is Kneon. Yeah. So welcome. If you guys have not been to the channel before now, I'm sorry. But we are going to discuss comics. We do discuss comics on occasion. We did work in comics for a number of years. We still publish our own comics, and we've been talking about the decline of the comic book industry, even though some people don't like to hear it. No. But it's.
I think fewer people care at this point.
I noticed we're not getting the pushback that we used to get when we first started talking about the problems in the comic book industry. My God, there was so much pushback. And if you said that there were any problems with the comic book industry, objectively, I mean, we're not talking about the content of the books even. We're just saying, hey, the industry's got some major problems. It's hanging by a thread. This isn't sustainable long term. It turned out that wasn't. You were like a literal Nazi. Mm-hmm. You were not allowed to say that. And here we are at the end of comics, or at least comics as we've known at the direct market.
I mean, I always thought it was dumb in general. That I remember you told me, like, when we first started getting together and stuff, and you're doing comics, and you're like, I'm like, well, how the stores get it? Well, Diamond. And I'm like, there's only one distributor. They don't see a problem with it, you know? Now there's more. But, you know, at the time.
Yeah, there were more. Know. There were more until the 90s. And that's a whole rabbit hole you could go down. But there were more than one. And then they kind of consolidated all the power at Diamond. And then it turned out that, at least as far as I can tell, Diamond was kind of a shell game, right? They're just kind of pushing money around, and they still owe a lot of publishers money. I don't think they're ever going to see it. I don't know. Heidi is saying on Comics Beat that she's hearing it described as a bloodbath and massive layoffs. But Rich Johns,
there.
I know, right? We knew this was going to happen. Like, every time a company, gets sold, there are always layoffs. But I don't think the purpose of the acquisition was to keep Diamond intact, because Diamond, the reason that they're going bankrupt as it is because the industry is not good.
No.
They're not
I think
money.
that and poor decisions.
A lot of poor decisions, a lot of overspending. So let's talk about Bleeding Cool. Rich Johnson, again, weirdly enough, has become one of the better comic journalists by default, because he's one of the last ones standing.
Heidi McDonald's the one who got the Eisner nom.
Yeah, well, she knows the right people.
Remember, she screamed one that's screaming the loudest last year when she thought they were going to take journalism out. Anyway.
Well, she's got her dress, right? She can wear her dress again. Is that what she's complaining about? Bleeding Cool. As ad populum buys Diamond, layoffs hit in sales, services, and support. The layoffs have begun. Let's see here. Ad populum's acquisition sparks major layoffs in sales, services, tech, and support teams. Diamond's comic suite and pullbox software face uncertainty as whole tech support teams are let go. Industry veterans like Rich Johnson, not Johnston, and Chris Powell are gone after decades of service. And the bankruptcy saga ends as ad populum, that sounds so evil, and Universal Distribution finalized Diamond's purchase.
Oh, that's a real name? I thought that was like some kind of like a joke. They're calling it that or something, but that's the actual name?
Ad populum. It sounds like a villain. It sounds like a super villain. Ad populum. It's he's the guy that just spams you with all kinds of banner ads. Kind of like going to these websites. Anyway, pullbox software, you need to back it up because we don't know what the hell is going to happen. Layoffs are starting. He's talking about Rich Johnson, not Johnston. Sometimes he would get his email. Okay. He's worked for years. He's gone. Stuart Carter, sales manager at Diamond Books, and Terry Hellman, Diamond Books, were also let go. So that's interesting because for a while it looked like Diamond was going to kind of pivot to books, and now they're like, we're not even going to.
I just I don't understand why anybody would think that they wouldn't be let go,
What made you think you'd still have a job? The company's filed for Chapter 11. Actually, in some ways, you are better off just riding it out and taking the unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you jump ship on your own, you're not going to get that. So you might get a couple of months of severance or whatever. So you might be better off. But I don't know where you're going to go. That's the thing. Like, I don't know where you're going to go in this industry.
In this industry, but depending on what you do, it might be something that can pivot to another industry, Yeah. There's a lot of jobs, especially their manager type positions or like a printing type position or something that you could easily switch to a different company in a similar related field, but not the same field.
So when this happens in comics, I noticed that some of these people, because again, a lot of these people are friendly with everybody, and that's part of the reason that the comic book industry, or at least coverage of the comic book industry, is so spotty. Is there are a lot of cliques and a lot of friend circles, and there's not a lot of objectivity. Everybody knows everybody, right? So when this happens, they all are like, hey, this guy's a good guy, hire him. This guy, this gal's a good gal, hire her, which is cool. But also, like, you wouldn't see ABC News doing that, right?
No, and you have to be careful too, depending on where it's coming from. That's how a lot of people got into these positions in the first place.
Yes.
And they like kind of tanked everything. So it's like, you don't want to hire them.
It's like, let me hire my 10 friends from art school. And they're all like activists, and they're going to come in and squat on social media and tell your customers that they're a bunch of Nazis. Yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah, they're just going to be
but they're cheap.
They're great people. You need to hire them again in a different place. And it's like I'd be looking into each one individually. But that's me.
Yes, well, like a real business. And this is part of the problem with current year comics. It wasn't always this way, but the current year comic book industry is there. It's not really run like a proper business in some ways. It's just like everybody's kind of friends with everybody else, and we're just kind of like making books for Diamond to sell to a dwindling amount of comic shops. We still don't know how many comic shops there actually are. Now, they released a list, I guess, of Diamond's customers, and there were a couple thousand names on there, but some of those, I guess, were like clubs, like apparently, which I didn't even know this was a thing. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even know this was a thing. People were getting Diamond accounts to basically buy stuff and then share it amongst their collector friends, but they weren't actually a brick and mortar shop.
And, well, I thought you had to have like
I thought you did too.
I mean, maybe they didn't for Diamond. I know a lot of places you do.
We've talked about it before. We have a retail location. I wouldn't consider it a comic book shop. There's some graphic novels there, but we deal with different distributors, and we always had to have a brick and mortar address and a business license and all this tax.
I mean, from the standpoint of the club, I mean that's kind of cool, actually. I'd sign up for that, but
the Wednesday Warriors meet at the community center every Wednesday, and I bring my boxes of new comics and we just dole them out like it's 1992. I don't know. So yeah, lots of people left go. A lot of people talking about it. They said, yeah, this is Cliff Biggers, who's a pretty big name in the retail circles. He said, as of today, Diamond Comics Distributors, as we have known it, no longer exists. The corporate conglomerate was sold to Universal Distributors and Populum, and we will get some idea of what their future plans are over the coming days and weeks. I'm sad to hear that some of my good friends have devoted themselves tirelessly to making Diamond a better company, having to fight against the corporate current all the way, are now laid off with no severance. Oh God, no severance package, no bonus, and
Well,
nothing for their hard work.
If they can get away with it,
Chapter 11, yeah.
It's in, yeah, and that, yeah.
When I see the immense
shit,
sums,
though.
that sucks. When I see the immense sums that Diamond wanted may have been allowed to pay a few choice executives, it's distressing to know the people who are Diamond's front line for years got nothing to compensate them for the work.
Wait, they
put
paid
into the company.
executives money though?
Yeah, apparently they got golden parachutes. That's like,
oh, that's about right. They probably have their contract, but still, I mean, like that's shit. That's utter shit.
Yeah, here's the thing though. They're like, oh, our corporate owners, whatever. I'm like, but what do you think Universal and Ad Populum are? Like, it's I don't know. So this is founder of distributor Pacific Comics and former Diamond VP of purchasing. Bill said retired 13 years ago, still upset by this. Ad Populum did not respond to inquiries made yesterday. This week, coming is meant to see the new Diamond August 2025 catalog drop with Diamond previews out a week on Wednesday. Is that going to be the last one? I don't think they're interested in it. So here's the whole, like we've kind of been covering this. So here's the people who got laid off. Look, I don't think things are going to go back to normal. I don't think they bought Diamond to prop up a handful of massively underperforming independent comic book publishers. Again, the big dogs already went to Lunar or whatever.
So why'd they buy it?
They think to get their games and merch out there. Like, yeah. So it's, I don't know. I think this is just they bought the scraps, right? I mean, that's the thing. God, this has been a.
Do we know how much they paid for it?
I don't know, actually.
Was it less than they were asking originally?
Okay, we learned a joint bid by Universal and Ad Populum came second and was named the backup with a bid of $69 million. Which honestly, in the grand, is that right? $69 million? Yeah. I guess the grand scheme of things, though, it's not a ton of money. So Universal gets Alliance and Diamond UK. Ad Populum gets Diamond Comics, Diamond Select Toys, and everything else.
Okay, yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and Basic Fun was third with $50 million. So they had multiple bids. The first was Alliance, and then Alliance, that deal fell through because they said Diamond lied about Wizards of the Coast.
Right.
And they said, we bid that much because we thought they might have actually gotten this cheaper than that then. I don't know. Because yeah, Diamond lied and said that they still had a deal with Wizards, and Wizards is like, no, we no longer have a deal. And they're like, well, that's like 25-30% of your income for Magic cards. So yeah, we're gonna have a problem. We're not paying that. And then it's a mess. I don't think comics are ever going to be the same after this. I think this is the official end of the direct market as we've known it. I think there's still going to be comic shops. I think there's still going to be game shops. I think a lot of them, if they haven't done so already, are going to pivot to back issues and other stuff, graphic novels, tabletop games, whatever. We're still going to have nerd stores. It's just not going to look like it did before. I don't think.
I don't know. I mean, you can still get stuff like online and things like that too. So,
well, yeah, and that's a big thing, right? Because a lot of people, they just buy the trades online.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier. Just go to Amazon. Well, you want to read? Okay. Well, this is the first, 6 issues of this book or whatever. Why would I buy the floppies? It's like, was on Thinking Critical this morning, and basically floppy comics are like Steam early access, where the people that buy the floppies are basically paying to bankroll the trade, but most people aren't buying most people are going to buy the trades.
That's what I would buy, honestly, because why buy the individual little ones when you can get one big one that's probably cheaper? I mean, when you figure it per issue. But,
oh, yeah. $10-15 for, how many issues? 6 issues of a comic or 4 issues of a comic? And now those comics are $4, $5, $6,
Yeah,
$7
insane.
now.
I mean, I get it, but it's
As a
insane.
collectible, maybe, but like, are they really that collectible now? I don't think
I don't.
they are.
I mean, I wouldn't buy them, but that's just me.
That's just you. You
I have
don't like
brushable
them.
hair. That no.
Could we do? Oh my god! I don't know if they've ever done that. They should have done a My Little Pony comic with brushable hair.
There you
Like
go.
actually have a mane and a tail on it, and you could like.
Well, that's what we need
brush
to do.
the cover.
We need to do a comic, and it'll be like a hardcover, like anthology or whatever, and it'll be brushable on the outside.
Brushable on the outside. They've had some crazy covers for comics. That'd be awesome. The brushable.
Everybody will know
Cover.
which one's my book because they'll be like, oh, that's Geeky's right there.
That's Geeky's. It's got the hairy book. All right, we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
There we go, guys. Not looking good. Oh well, I don't know. It's like you only had like 15 years of warning. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.